Thank you again. Thank you again for watching Carl and J-Man Save the World podcast. Us be these guys. We're doing Us be these guys. Make it sure we're doing Us be these guys.
We're running out of film, so we're breaking fourth walls here today.
So when we're talking about the modern television shows.
I thought we were talking about the 90s shows.
Oh yeah, we're talking about the TV shows. So TV shows back then, TV shows in a way were family oriented, like Sister. Modern, what was it? Modern Family. What was it? Full House. Step by Step. All of those shows showed family oriented, family specific, and it was because of that it shaped the nation. It shaped the world that we live in today. It shaped the reservation of how we live now. So when we talk about that, we're talking about 90s. We're talking about 90s shows.
Talking about nostalgia.
Talking about those.
Talking about taking it back to some youthful times.
Yeah.
Innocent times.
Because
you think about, because we're 90s kids, right?
Oh, yeah. We're talking about the time where, President Bill Clinton was impeached because of Monica Lewinsky. We're talking about Nirvana.
That's family oriented.
That's family oriented. We're talking about Nirvana, Kurt Cobain kind of thing. We grew up with those types of things. We grew up with all the misogyny. We grew up with all the dystopian era. We grew up with all of the things that will not be tolerated today. And the reason why is because back then we didn't care about that kind of stuff. We didn't care about.
It was still very much part of the culture.
Yeah, we didn't care about what was that one? Peter Pan. Remember, we didn't care about Peter Pan, where they made fun of
dancing with those caricatures of Indians.
Yeah, we didn't care about that because I wanted to be Peter Pan. I didn't care about no Indians there.
He wanted to be Peter Pan, but we all called him Tinkerbell back then.
And with that, it shaped America what we are today. I mean,
well, it shaped our lives for sure.
It shaped our lives.
Many of our lives for those of us that grew up back in that era.
So we're millennials.
Yeah, unfortunately.
And we're millennials. So the generation before us were what were they called?
Gen Xers.
Gen Xers. They talk about how we're lazy.
We have big dreams.
We
want instant gratification.
Exactly.
And then the generation after us, Gen Zers.
Generation Z.
They're trying to cancel Eminem.
So in the news, actually, there is where Eminem is going to be canceled because of Generation Z saying that all of his lyrics are very, very much derogative.
And they are.
Of course they are.
But we didn't care back then. They were being played on the radio.
Yeah, back then they were being blasted through. They were being blasted through like daycare centers. On the front cover of his first album, you have him and his daughter or his son.
His daughter.
Yeah, his daughter. They were burying his ex-wife pretty much, and it showed that And we didn't care about that. We didn't care about anything like that.
PC wasn't a thing back then.
No.
And it really shows, like we're talking about the TV shows of the 90s.
Yeah.
It really showed in a lot of those series that we used to watch. And I mean, even you think about even to the cartoons that we used to watch as kids.
Yeah.
Saturday morning
cartoons.
What was your favorite Saturday morning cartoon?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles was my favorite TV show.
That was great.
And
who was your favorite turtle?
Actually, it wasn't a turtle. It was actually Master Splinter.
I thought you were going to say Krang. You wanted to be Krang. You and another friend were probably Bebop and Rocksteady.
I thought that Bebop was pretty cool because he wore the cool shades,
The cool glasses.
the cool glasses.
You
the
would be Master Splinter.
So, I mean, back then there
I was a Michelangelo.
You were
kid.
a Michelangelo one?
Mikey was my guy.
Actually, Leonardo was kind of my guy too. Yeah. April O'Neil was my crush.
That's the poster that you
That
had
was
hanging
April.
in your bedroom.
Yeah, April O'Neil was my childhood crush.
Your arch enemy back in those days was probably Casey Jones.
Casey Jones. Of course, and a lot of those shows now, like the earlier SpongeBob episodes.
Oh gosh.
Oh my God! If you watch that today, that
You'd
would
laugh your ass
You
off.
laugh your ass off first, but it'd probably be canceled right then and there because of cancel culture.
Well, it's so funny because like that you mentioned SpongeBob, and that series came out I think a little bit later in my life. Like I was probably almost in my teen years.
Yeah.
By the time that came out, but then you think about those first 2 seasons of SpongeBob, that there were a lot of jokes that were oriented towards adults.
Oh yeah,
which is which is why it became so popular.
Oh yeah, it is. I mean, if you watch it today, you get all the jokes now. Mm-hmm. You get like, oh my God, I can't believe that SpongeBob just said that. Remember there was an episode where SpongeBob actually had Pantera play on there?
Yeah. It's so funny you say that now because then I think that a lot of shows and movies from those days in the 90s, like you watched them a lot, but you never quite understood a lot of those jokes. But now as a 30-something-year-old, you go back and you watch a lot of those shows or those movies and you're laughing because then a lot of these jokes you understand now, and then you can't believe that that's something that your parents or your grandparents actually let you watch.
Exactly. I mean, like when what was that concept of TGIF?
TGIF.
Thank God it's Friday.
Thank God it's Friday.
You know, you had Bob Saget on there,
who we didn't know was doing coke through most of that time. They were filming Full House.
Well, they were filming Full House, and you had Bill Cosby that was on there. Raping all the women on there. You never knew about that. Nobody cared. Nobody cared about that.
No, it was a different time. It was definitely a different time.
It was actually because if you were making good ratings and if you were making the money,
that was most important.
That was the most important thing.
Most important.
Exactly. But now everything today is all about PC. Mm-hmm. We can't say Indians anymore.
Nope.
We have to say Native American.
It's indigenous.
Yeah, or indigenous. We can't say black people anymore.
Nope.
We have to say African American.
We can't talk about the black guys mac and cheese.
Yeah, we can't say black and cheese anymore. We can't say anything. We can't make like in the grade school. Mm-hmm. Remember in grade school we used to do our eyes, put them up like this, and then doing like Chinese people.
Yeah.
You can't do that anymore.
Yeah. Carl's real upset that he can't be a racist anymore.
And it's because of the way that we grew up in. It's because of the way that we as people now think that we've done a lot of bad things in the past. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Of course we did, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, a lot of bad things in the past. But that shouldn't be because of, that shouldn't be the reason why.
Because we did bad things in the past shouldn't be the reason why we changed to be better people.
No, what I'm saying is that the reason why we're canceling all of this is because we think that if we do this, the world will be a better place. Mm-hmm. But the world is not going to be a better place because of it.
Well, I mean, I think that it shows growth in our society.
It does.
I think that it shows that we're now taking into consideration feelings for other people.
Oh, yeah.
Especially for those that have been oppressed for so long.
True. Mm-hmm. True. But
only half the reservation is misogynistic and racist. The other half is good.
So, I mean, like, when we were growing up, we were all sorts of racist, but we never knew it was racism.
No, because we saw a lot of other people doing it. We saw a lot of our adults.
Yeah,
a lot of that were supposed to be teaching us how to be adults doing it.
But we grew up in a way where we're more content, or we're more of like okay with it, with the whole idea of it.
This is what happens when Carl drives the car. They start all talking about 90s shows. And then he goes on a rant about how he's upset that he can't do Chinese eyes anymore.
But the whole idea behind like different types of 90s shows actually did shape a lot of our upbringings.
It did. And, I think that some of the things that we were talking about, you think about some of the nostalgia, the happiness back in those days, because then you think about some of the things we used to do as kids, playing with toys.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of those toys derived from some of the cartoons that we used to watch.
Exactly.
Or some of the games we used to play were things that we learned from television shows that we watched. Mm-hmm. Do you remember some of those Nickelodeon game shows like Double Dare?
Oh, yeah, Double Dare.
There was a couple of others, Legends of the Hidden Temple.
I used to love that show.
We would make like little obstacle courses in our house and act like that. We're in that game show, or pieing each other in the face because of like Double Dare, or all of the gack and slime that was a part of that Nickelodeon culture back then.
And when we grew up, we grew up okay. We grew up fine. We didn't think about all of
Some of us did.
We didn't think about the misogyny. We didn't think about all of that type of stuff like that, because it was in the society that happened back then, back in the TV shows. Like in now, what was that? There is a TV show, or Rocko's Modern Life. Rocko's Modern Life. If you go on Netflix now and you look up Rocko's Modern Life, there's a new television show where it's where he, on the very, very last episode of Rocko's Modern Life, they were shot up into space in his house. They had this huge rocket that was shot up, and that ended the series. So the series afterwards begins with them still floating around in space with Rocko and his friends. And he says that, okay, this is the time where we're going to go back. So they go back to Earth, and now it's all modern. Now, Rocko was a 90s kid just like us. Yeah. And he goes back and he sees all the smartphones and the microwave hot pockets and all of these different things that define modernization, and he doesn't accept it. And the one thing that he loved was his TV show, which was what was it called?
Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Step by Step.
I forgot what it was called, but it was like a really misogynistic TV show. It was like all derogative.
Home Improvement.
Yes, that too. But it was like a TV show that it was made in the 90s, and it was made for Rocko, and like Tom and Jerry. Remember Tom and Jerry that? Something like that in that way. And he loved it, but they canceled it because it was too derogative. It was too racist. It was too like that. Yeah. And so Rocko, his mission is to find the artist that created the show and bring him back.
Oh, that's right.
And so he goes through this whole journey, and his whole friends go through this, and they said that I want to be modern too, and so they buy all the smartphones.
They become PC.
Yeah, they become PC people, but not
start wearing the sailor jackets, the pea coats.
Exactly, but not Rocko.
All start eating quinoa and kale. and if they're indigenous, they put blue cornmeal into every single thing.
Yeah, they do that pretty much. And so Rocko, he wants to stay in the 90s. And I guess that's how some of us think in that way.
That's interesting. After your whole rant about not having the ability to be outside of this PC world.
Yeah.
Do you see yourself as Rocko?
I see myself as Rocko.
Are you Rocko?
I wanted to be Rocko.
Yeah.
I love that show. Yeah. It's like I don't want it to be modern anymore. I want it to stay the same as like
you
that.
Still want to do the woo woo woo. And not get canceled.
There was a that reminded me. There was a TV show, I Love Lucy.
I Love Lucy.
Yeah, I Love Lucy. 50 shows. Yeah. And on one of her earlier episodes, they were
invited me to Benjamin.
They were actually going to do called a Apache War Dance, or Apache something dance. And so she called it an Indian dance. And so they're like, okay, well, the dot Indian, or like the Indian. And she goes around and does the dances around the house like in like the Indian type of way. And if you bring that show back, if Lucy was alive today,
Lucia Ball get canceled.
Yeah, she would be canceled. She would be part of that cancel culture. And it's like, why do we do that? Why do we keep doing those things like that now?
To be sensitive to other people's cultures.
I know. I know you want to be sensitive, but that's the whole point of it. It wasn't sensitive back then. It's never going to be sensitive now. You can complain all you want.
Half the reservation bad, half the reservation good.
I think people out there still kind of Art Rocco's Modern Life kind of idea. So
just remember, just cancel Carl, not me.
But no, like the whole concept of like 90s television show, it brought like homely versions of itself. And it brought back a lot of the whole idea of being home and having a home with family.
Yeah, that's true, because I think that the way that technology has developed, that the fact that you could have 5 people in a household and they all could be watching television, but they all are watching television separately.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's watching on their phones, or they're watching on tablets or, laptops or, something to that extent. But back in the 90s, it really, you only had one television in the house, 1 or 2 televisions in the house. And if you wanted to watch TV, that you were stuck having to watch what the other people in the house wanted to watch.
Oh, yeah.
And so in that way, that it really did bring the family together to watch, some of those shows that we're talking about, the Saturday morning cartoons or the TGIF stuff, the Nick at Night stuff, the I Love Lucy stuff.
And so, which brings me to the conclusion is that us 90s kids still want to hold on to that concept of like family, like how would you say that? Like
maybe you do, but I like to watch shows by myself now with the technology that's afforded.
Really?
Yeah.
You don't want to watch like as a family unit? Like
hell no.
I mean,
just kidding.
I mean, we still watch TV every night with So and Kwa.
That's because you force So and Kwa to watch what you want to watch.
Hey, I still watch like Family Matters with them. I still watch that. So, well, that was just part of the rant that we did, and just talking about like the 90s shows along with like
the cancel Carl.
So we do have t-shirts available. Links will be down below. If you haven't seen, not those shirts, if you haven't seen our last episode, click this episode here, and we'll be actually talking about cooking in that one there, which was pretty cool. And well, thank you again for listening and watching us be these guys. My name is Carl. My best friend J-Man.
So long, Kwa Kwa.